And we're back. And welcome back to Ben and Becca, because this time last week you were in Disneyland Paris.
And it was a lot colder.
It was a lot colder.
Yes.
We chose the wrong week.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Except I feel it was much busier this week.
Oh, it's horrific. I mean, they actually capped the park access yesterday. They put the big red signs up saying parks complet. It was, they haven't been out for a while.
No. I'm not surprised it was busy
10
yesterday.
years?
At least, I would have thought. Maybe a little bit less.
But wouldn't it have just been that extra special just to have been there when the gates were opened, just in the morning?
Oh, there was a rousing chorus of happy birthday, apparently, just before the parks opened again.
Oh, that's nice.
Imagine if it was someone else's birthday and you turned
I
up
know.
and it's like someone singing you happy birthday.
We should have been going on
singing you happy birthday.
If we'd gone on Sunday, they could have sung to me.
Mate, Claire, they were practicing.
That's what it is. They're just waiting for me to arrive. That's all it is.
So you've got a trip next week. So when do you go? When do you go? Sunday?
No, we go Monday morning actually, because we can't go Sunday, but we're going Monday morning. We're on the 6:20 tunnel. We're I'm driving.
Fab. Sounds.
I left that to Ben.
I know. I quite like driving.
It is.
I enjoy driving. God, this is going to sound. I enjoy being in control. I knew this was going to go. It was going. I could feel it already. But yeah, no, I'm a much better driver than I am a passenger.
That's why. So's Ben.
Yeah, I'm not a good passenger.
No, I'm
not at all.
Yeah.
I'm a better passenger.
I think that's the years of driving in comparison, because you only passed your test last year.
Yeah, I'm still a bit.
That's it. Yeah, I passed my test when I was 17, so it's like 1,000 years.
Fun fact that I found out, that if you drove, we'd have to drive slower there.
Why?
Apparently part of the if you pass your test within the past 3 years, you can't reach the top speed limit.
Oh, I bet you can.
You're not supposed to if you get caught.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like some physical issue. It's just
No.
Okay. Well, you know what? The whole kilometres thing that happens, it's all a bit, and it changes speed when it's in the rain. We're going to talk about this tonight anyway. So
it's handy to have a car that changes between miles an hour and kilometres.
No, just best guess will do. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
But it's about 20 less or something like that, isn't it?
I'm not. It's what it is.
Depends how quickly you want to get there. Just put your foot down.
Right.
We're not encouraging anyone to do this, but just
no. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Anyway, we're going to touch on travel. That's what we're talking about tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're talking about how to get to Disneyland Paris.
So many different ways.
Planes, trains, automobiles, and then probably some other ways that we haven't mentioned.
Walking? That would be a long way.
Don't tempt me. Oh.
Yeah.
But we've got some friends in the chat. I've seen a few people coming through.
This is where I have to jump to scroll all the way up.
So the first person that I saw in the Facebook chat was Maria. So
no, there we go.
No, it was
Apparently
me.
you were there.
It was me. But
was that cheating?
That was cheating. But I saw Maria. Popping, which is great. So Maria, for people who don't know Maria, was she on a cruise?
Yes.
With you guys?
Yeah, we did the
she was.
staycation Magic at Sea last September.
We had a great time with Maria and Maria's mum and dad.
That's right. And Maria's husband.
And Maria's husband, yes. Sorry, Chris.
But Maria is part of the Disneyland Paris Dream Team with me. So I know Maria through that route, which is very cool. So Maria knows loads about DLP too.
Yeah, cool. I know she's got a trip booked for later this year.
She has. And Maria, we're staying in Sequoia Lodge Golden Forest for the first time as well. So we've done all the other levels in other hotels, but not Golden Forest. So that's our trip next week.
And as with most Disney trips, they always end with looking at your future trip.
Of course.
Yeah. There's always an eye on the future.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I come back, it'll be, so it's 28 days today, I think, before I go to America. So
no.
Yeah, it's coming around.
Wow.
That's come around really quickly.
It's coming around really quick.
So the thing is, as soon as you've got your trip, it's like ours is like a week later.
This is it.
Yeah.
So no sooner do we get back at the end of next week, and then I've literally got like 2 weeks at work, and then I'm off.
Wow.
I'll be off and back before I know what's happened.
By the time the jet lag's hit, you'll be landing back at Heathrow.
I know. And I've got to pack so much in. So, I'm not
You're not going to sleep.
You'll be knackered.
Full of coffee. You'll be fine.
I know. I'll just be fueled on caffeine like normal.
Caffeine and sugar.
That's all right. It's just like Zach.
Yeah. That bit in Encanto. That is Zach. That's why coffee's for grown-ups.
Yeah.
So sorry, we got distracted. Who else was in the chat?
We have Dan. Hi,
we
Dan.
have Dan.
Hello, Dan.
We
Also
have
got a trip
Lynn.
to Disneyland Paris next week.
Excellent.
Hi,
Lynn.
is there, and
Thank you for
Wendy.
joining us.
Hey, Wendy.
There we go.
Feels we've being back in control of the
It does,
comments.
doesn't it?
There you go. You see.
Nothing to worry
There you
about
go.
tonight, John.
I know.
yes.
I'm feeling so much freer this week. You know.
I am driving the day after my birthday, Maria. I will be driving very early in the morning as well, so I will have to cease any alcoholic beverages early. But that's okay because I can start early instead.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Also, Maria, thank you for remembering and reminding everyone it's Claire's birthday on Sunday. That's it.
Do we want to play it again?
As if Claire doesn't need any other notification.
Sorry, John,
Like,
whose birthday is it?
the whole of Facebook is going to explode, isn't it, on Sunday?
Oh.
You know, everyone's going to get a notification. It's Claire's birthday.
As long as
just
it
wanna
doesn't
say-
tell you how old I am, I don't mind.
I just want to say hi to Wendy. I know you've just got back from a
21
trip
again.
to Walt Disney World.
Yes,
Some
Wendy, you look
amazing
like you had
pictures.
so much
Oh,
fun.
fabulous.
That scooter thing, I'm assuming that's in Paris. That makes me laugh. You had a bit of a hanger-on.
Hi, Caleb.
Hello,
Caleb.
Hey, Caleb. Thanks for joining us.
And
Neil and Karen.
bonsoir. Definitely. It is definitely a bonsoir evening because
Yeah.
we are still on our month of Disneyland Paris.
And that is about the extent of my French.
Is it?
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
You say that for the end, but
Yeah. Merci.
Well, I've discovered that my...
Comment ça va?
Okay. But then what do you say when they say ça va? Ça va bien? Yeah. And then you
Google
what do you
Translate and just
say?
go.
Yeah.
No.
You're trying it, and I'm trying to work out what it is.
Oui.
You can get an app for that, I'm sure. So I discovered that my son is able to ask for another glass of white wine in many different languages, which is quite impressive. Italian is very capable of that.
There you go, see?
I can ask for a hot chocolate.
I can point to the menu.
In French.
Yeah.
How does that
Just
work?
like that.
I feel like pointing to the menu in English, really silent.
Just with more
That's
anger.
really, really bad. But
Oh, do you mean?
Hi, the Baker family. I know you've just got back from DLP as well last week.
Oh, wow.
fantastic. Who else have we got?
We've
we
got
Mark.
Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Great
Thanks for
to
joining
have
us.
you here, Mark.
Yeah.
We
it's
have
lovely to
Heather. Hi, Heather.
I'm just
Heather's
trying to work
with
out.
us
Heather,
again.
you know we always do the time check. I have no idea what time it is where you are.
I was about to say, it must be about 1 o'clock.
One.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
something.
About 12, half 1, something like that. That's it.
It's lunch break for
Lunchtime.
Heather's lunchtime.
Maria, I'm assuming that comment is in relation to Morgan's abilities. What?
Brilliant.
See, my
Oh.
French is good.
Oh,
And
dear.
Karen's here as well.
Karen's
Yeah,
here,
hi,
and
Karen.
Lisa's
Hi,
here as well.
Oh,
Lisa.
Lisa. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
All the cool kids are here.
Do you know what? It is
Yeah.
brilliant to see some people that I know that were at Disneyland Paris last week in the chat tonight. It's brilliant.
And we managed to not run
Fantastic.
into a
So,
single one
I
of them.
know.
It's
Not weird.
mad, isn't it?
It did feel like we were on a whirlwind, just
Yeah.
Yeah, a
2
bit of a
days
whirlwind.
of like, oh, this is from driving that I've not done before in France, which is interesting.
Yeah. Can I just add? I think Lynn's put a little note in the chat that it was mine yesterday, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't her glass of wine. It was probably
Her
it was her birthday. So a happy birthday to
Happy
you.
birthday.
We just no.
Wait, that would mean you share a birthday with Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
That is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
30
Yeah.
as well for Lynn, obviously.
Yeah. Again, that's it.
Yes, Karen. I know we did especially on the Friday
morning. Yeah.
Yeah, we left Friday, and it was just we spent 4 hours in the park, and it was just that
Wet.
It was Epcot rain.
There wasn't any queue for anything though.
No, but we didn't risk going to Big Thunder Mountain.
Unlike today. Have you seen the queue news today? Oh my goodness. Honestly, I saw someone complaining they spent 5 hours in the queue for Crush's Coast.
Ouch. Wow.
No.
Why? Please
Oh
don't
my
ever
God.
spend 5 hours in a
It's
queue
a
for
good
anything.
ride, but I think it's a half an hour, maybe hour max.
I'm sorry, 20 minutes or no.
Yeah, I was going to say we didn't
thing
ride
is,
Crush's Coaster because the
back.
queue was too long.
Life's too short for things like that.
Right? 5 hours? No, don't do
We
it.
decided to meet Marvel characters instead, which I know was
Yeah,
still a long
shouldn't
queue.
have done that either.
Yeah.
But that was our first characters we
That
met.
was your.
It was.
Were you disappointed it was Wanda, not Black Widow? Were you hoping for Natasha?
No, because
really?
No,
you met
I
Black
would
Widow
have.
last time,
Oh, okay.
and John the Crows. He's quite happy that he's
didn't
already met
meet
Black
Black
Widow about
Widow.
3 times. It's fine.
No, that's Captain Marvel.
No, you met Black Widow as well.
See, Becca's counting. She knows.
Yeah.
She clocked it
Yeah,
straight away.
I'm sure you did.
Oh.
But no Loki, Becca, sadly.
No, I didn't get Loki.
We saw Loki, but last time we were in Disneyland Paris. But unfortunately, you weren't allowed to go and hug him.
I
It all
wasn't,
has to be
no.
socially distanced.
It's also not Tom Hiddleston, so you know.
No. Kind of different.
Yeah,
we
kind-
had the
just
exact
kind of.
same every night that we were there. It was so windy that the drones weren't able to operate.
Yeah.
So it's an excuse to go back.
Yeah, we'll have to go back.
Yeah.
And that's the saddest thing, isn't it? Because actually, when you want to go and see something like that, and you want to see it at its absolute pinnacle. So, just an excuse to go back. Looks like the Baker family had the same issues as well, which is a shame.
I think it's always the risk with Paris and the weather, isn't it? It is hit and miss.
Just what Karen said. Started snowing. I think we had all 4 seasons in a 3-night trip.
Oh, there's a song in there, John. There's a song in there.
Crowded House have beaten us to it, I think. That's it.
Well, it's going to be one of those, isn't it?
Do you know what, Maria? We should have done it. We should just sat there and gone, no, we're waiting. We're waiting. It's still raining, but I don't care.
I think that's the thing, though. If it's raining or it has been raining and then you get fireworks, it just is such an anticlimax in terms of you just get like the puffs of smoke and not a lot else, and you don't see very much. So we've had that, and it is a bit disappointing.
It's nice if you can't get much of you anyway, and it's not that impacted. We had that once with some Walt Disney World fireworks where it just rained. All you could see was fog.
That's what we had. We had a dessert party actually on the Tomorrowland Terrace, and the desserts were good, but the fireworks were. I was going to swear
for the fireworks. It's just,
fireworks weren't great.
I was going to say it was the Christmas party.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was the first time that Holiday Wishes had stopped. It was the one after first one. So shall we actually get back to
the topic at hand?
Oh.
So what are we
We've got a
talking about
topic.
tonight? We've got a topic.
Yeah, there we go.
I think Claire's mentioned it already.
Not
So
the
where do
film.
we start?
No. Do you know what? I think we'll start with this first. Just get everyone in the mood for Disneyland Paris.
Disneyland Paris have got the best music for their 30th.
They always have the best music for their parades. They're all far more
They do.
singable than any of the others.
Yeah. What a great way to start a show is actually introduced it with the fireworks rather than leaving it to the very end. So, should maybe play that again at the very end. Ben,
At the very end.
Yeah.
And someone here thinks we're on a loop.
Yeah.
Only if they dropped out 15 minutes in and came back right at the end.
Yeah.
And you and Becca drove down for the first time.
Oh, yeah, that was
So
interesting.
we drive all the time. That's certainly my preferred route, and it's the quickest for us. How was it for you? Because you've not driven in France before.
No. Every time we've been before, we've
Got the train.
We've used Eurostar, and it was a lot of this trip was based on budget. So, and what was going to work out the cheapest and most convenient? Because the problem with the Eurostar at the minute is you have to go to London, St Pancras, to get a train, and it was just a lot of faff. But actually just being able to drive 15-20 minutes from our house, check in at Folkestone, and just get through the tunnel. And driving in France is really easy.
Yeah.
So much so that I'm happy. I don't think I'll ever look at any other option.
And it is so much cheaper, isn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah.
The Eurotunnel crossing is about £89 each way, maybe. You can actually, for those in the UK, you can use your Tesco Club Card vouchers to pay for your crossing. If you have a stack of those, you actually get multiple Club Card vouchers. You can get for about 60 quid of Club Card vouchers. You can get your return crossing. So it is really economical, actually. And 35 minutes, boom, you're off and you're in Calais and you're driving. You're
straight on the motorway, so there's no...
Exactly, there's no messing about.
No. On a good run, I think we got about 3 hours drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the quickest... I'm trying to think the quickest we've done it is about 2.5 hours.
Was that you or Dan driving?
I know it was me driving.
To be fair, we might have been a little bit quicker, but at first you were a bit hesitant with the speed.
Absolutely.
Do you know what? The speed limits there are confusing because a lot of the signs relate to the size of the vehicle. So you go through, and on my car, it flashes up telling you what speed you're supposed to be doing. But obviously it's picking up all the signs of like, oh, you're a caravan, drive at 50 kilometres an hour.
This sounds
never noticed those before. Maybe they're new.
On the toll road, there was roadworks.
Okay.
So it was like everyone having to slow down and all of that. But once I got past those, it was fine.
So that's the important bit.
I think I only annoyed a couple of French drivers.
Oh, well, that's only a disappointment.
It's only 2, I know.
I'll do much better than that next week. Yeah. So there's a bit of a motorway and then there's a toll road, which you don't have to take, but let's face it, we all would. The toll's €23 each way, something like that.
Yeah.
You can pay with card or you can pay with cash. Everyone just taps
it was quite handy because you just
it's all contactless now.
Contactless and it's dual side. So if you're on your own, you can.
See, it wasn't on mine. There wasn't.
Because most of them there's signs, so you can go to this on the Union flag, and you can go to the side, which is what
makes sense.
If you're on your own. But yeah, just tap and go, and then you come out at Chantilly is where you exit the toll. It's about €23 each way. But the toll road is in great condition. There are services if you want to stop. If you take the right exit, Ben.
Wasn't my issue.
No, that was my fault. I'll hold my hands up.
Yeah.
There are
confused.
If you want to take something to eat on the way and you want to stop and stretch your legs, there are little areas which are signposted.
There are plenty of Starbucks.
There are. But it's quite cool because you drive when you've come off the toll road, you then drive past Parc Asterix, which is quite cool on the left hand side, and then you drive underneath the runways of Charles de Gaulle Airport.
That was fun.
Which is fun actually. If there's planes taking off or landing, it's like wow. I'm sort of trying to imagine what's going on above your head.
That's actually quite a memorable part of the drive as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's like I'm nearly there. When I get to Charles de Gaulle, I'm like, okay, we're like 45 minutes away.
Yeah, it's not long.
And then
just being careful. It's the one bit I actually remember because you kind of come off the road, and it is kind of that sort of spiral that you come back around on yourself. And
that slip road's insane, isn't it?
You're trying to convince yourself. You kind of lose. You lose where you're at, and you're thinking, I can't possibly be turning that way because
I feel like I'm going back where the way I come.
Yeah, and it plays a real trick on you. So again, it's one of those ones that just sort of you've got a sat nav, trust the sat nav. Let yourself just sort of go with the flow and just let it happen. You're going in the right direction. And if you haven't got a sat nav, then
there's big signs with Mickey on.
Yeah, just make sure you just go at a speed where you can actually do that. So
and it's exit 14.
Yeah, that's right.
It's memorable because I know it was seat of the pants stuff for us because I thought I missed it.
Because you always go into it a bit quicker than you need to.
Yeah.
I do, and I go, I know this is a really tight slip road. I'll be fine, and then I'm like, oh, okay.
Claire's up on 2 wheels.
I was thinking that.
I'm in a 4-wheel drive. It's fine. I'll just,
Everyone lean back.
Yeah, lean over the side.
Like the Flintstones on the side of the car. Yeah,
no, it reminds me of
the first attraction of the trip.
what was it? Kilimanjaro Safaris, when
Yeah.
you've got that bit where it says all lean to one side because it's a rickety bridge.
That's what happens.
Fabulous.
And then from there, it's like a 30-minute straight drive down to Chissy. But that bit of road is really dreadful. It's in awful condition. It's full of potholes and
full of traffic.
It's really busy. And that's the worst bit of the drive, is because you go up that slip road and then you're like, I'm nearly there. And then it's just like, oh my goodness, it's just painful. And the car, you can literally feel every single joint in the road.
Once you've got past that bit, you go, it's Disney, and it's like everything's perfect. Again.
Yeah, and you can tell that moment. It's almost like there's a imaginary or like
barrier.
There will be an actual line. There will be a line.
You know, like when you walk down Main Street and you walk from one land to another, that you can see the concrete change.
Yeah,
it is a bit like that. And suddenly the trees are perfect and everything's painted and the grass is manicured. The birds are singing. It's like, suddenly you're on Disney property and everything in the world is wonderful. But it's it's an easy drive, and it's so much cheaper than getting the train. Now, to be fair, when you get there, you don't need your car. So
depends on where you're staying.
Okay. So if you're staying at Ranch Davy Crockett, you absolutely do need your car. You cannot stay there unless you self-drive. And then you have to drive from there and park in the main car park. Yeah,
we stayed off site in a B&B hotel, and it was a 10-minute drive.
Okay. Nice and easy.
The only issue we had with the sat nav was what it called parking at Disney and the Disney car park, because it kept trying to take us through to like a drop-off area, which you couldn't get to because the Disneyland Hotel is
it's under refurb, isn't it?
Yeah, so we ended up going down there once, and it was just like no. So, but other than that, it's like the thing is, we knew where we were going. We thought, well, we'll just follow the sat nav.
Or maybe it's a shortcut.
Yeah, but no.
Maybe it's just a different route.
I've just seen Mark's comment, which is, don't you have to change over to driving on the other side of the road? Yeah, we missed that bit, Mark. Yes. So obviously we drive on the left here in the UK, and everyone else who's wrong drives on the right. So yes, we drive on the wrong side of the road in our right-hand drive cars. So it's fine. It feels a bit weird to start with. But you very quickly get used to it. I remember the first time my friend. This is a bit of an anecdote. It's a bit off tangent. We went on a booze cruise, so I was probably like, I think I was about 20, and my friend James and I and a couple of other friends, we went over to France to buy some, because the alcohol in France is much cheaper if you go to the supermarket. So we went on the ferry over to Calais to stock up on some alcohol. And when we got off the ferry and you drive off and you trundle off, and James got out this Post-it note. I'm going to have to tell them I told everyone this Post-it note that just had an arrow and a big keep right sign. Yes. And he actually had another one which had a picture of a roundabout showing him which way round to drive. And it was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to die. But we were okay.
You know what? It's not difficult at all. Really isn't. I have to admit, I've put off driving there probably last 2-3 years, just thinking, okay, no, we live close to Folkestone Channel Tunnel, so why don't we use it? But I've always thought our train's more convenient and it's quicker, and but no, with everything
it's
now,
never been more convenient. We've never actually gone via the Eurostar from Ashford. We've always gone from either St Pancras or London. Either they've been cheaper or
so people are asking how you feel when you're driving on the wrong side of the road. And
first 5-10 minutes, this is a bit different, but you follow the car in front.
That's a really dangerous thing.
It really is. But the thing is, the car in front, it is one of those ones that there's enough signs once you've got off of Calais to say keep right, and then you've got a petrol station.
Go to their house, you're going to end up.
But no, just till you get on the motorway.
Car that's in front of you.
As long as they've got a sign saying I'm going to Disneyland Paris, follow that one.
Don't be a weird stalker person.
I think that's a really good question though, because actually, more often than not, when you go to somewhere that's driving on the wrong side of the road, you turn up. You hire a car that is set for the other side of the road, not the British car, and it does play a trick. I know Marcus has mentioned about it playing a trick on your mind, and it does. And I think Claire, your way of describing it is probably one of the nicest ones. I think what you've just got to understand is as you're driving, you just separate from where you normally would be. You are just, I think the way I think of it is you have to keeping pavement side.
Yeah.
And that's the only way of just keeping it straight in your mind, which is completely the opposite of how we would normally drive.
Everything's opposite, so you're overtaking and just everything is the opposite. You're on the opposite side of the car.
Yeah.
Because I've always been told that if driving in Florida, it feels more natural because everything's opposite, including where you're sitting.
And the car is as well. And I think that's really, I think, where people in the chat are coming from, is because you're in your normal car and you're in that mindset. Even if you get up early one morning to get into the parks, it's usually quite a good idea. Just get yourself that little sort of 10 seconds, 20 seconds of just sitting in the car, remind yourself of what side you're on. I will tell you a nice little story because I've been on the road this week. I came across a car that was visiting the UK from Germany, and they were facing me on the wrong side of the road, having come off a roundabout the wrong way. And the look on the driver's face was he was in the right. His wife, who was in the passenger seat, just gave
knew he was in the wrong.
Just like she knew. And we just stopped. You kind of read exactly what had gone on, and so you just stop and just let them carry on with what they were doing, and then I'm pretty sure she probably shouted at him.
How much do you want to bet she's been telling him for the past 5 minutes that he was going the wrong way down the road?
I think you're right.
I know better. I know where I'm going.
Yeah. And it was quite telling because they were doing something that would be very easy to do if you're British and going to France, and you don't have that sort of just that little moment where you're just trying to tell yourself at the start of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've been to Disneyland Paris. I've been to Disneyland Paris. This will be trip 38, I think. 37, 38, kind of lost count. And I've only taken the train 3 times. Every other time I've driven. So
really,
Wow. So I have no, and that's Dan was making a bit of a dig earlier about the fact I drive faster than him. I absolutely do, but I'm also I'm quite a confident driver, so I'm happy just to get on with it. Makes no difference to me which side of the car I'm sitting on or which side of the road I'm driving on, or even which car I'm in, to be honest with you. So I'm quite happy just to get on with it, whether that's been hiring a car or taking my car. So
the cost for us when we looked at it, because obviously with all the issues surrounding sort of Dover and everything and Folkestone at the minute, we thought emergency, if something had gone and we couldn't get to Folkestone and we could just get on a train to London, how much would it cost? Because of Easter holidays, it worked out, including the train to get to London, it's going to be £600.
Wow.
Right.
Where we paid 187.
This is it. The cost is astronomically more for the train. Maria's just asked, do we need anything specific for the car? Yes, you do. Good question, Maria.
I like that.
So you need a European first aid driving kit, which has got your warning triangle, your high vis vest. You meant to have one per person. And your breathalyzer units. So in France, you have to carry portable breathalyzer units, so that if you are stopped by the gendarme, you will have to use one of yours, not one of theirs.
So I'd recommend having a spare if you do use one. Then
they usually come in kits too, I think. But so the French roadside assistance kit and first aid kit you must have. And if you haven't got a car that has automatically adjusting headlight beams, so my car, I just I tap and it does it all for me. But some cars you have to still buy the stickers that you stick on the headlight unit so that the beams don't dazzle the opposite direction, because obviously they're set not to dazzle on a left-hand drive position. So if you're then driving on the right, they will absolutely just blind everyone coming towards you. So you have to stick the little thingies on your car, unless you've got a car that does it yourself.
And you've got to have a UK sticker on the back as well.
I think the other one as well, and a lot of people forget this given the fact that we are no longer part of Europe, allegedly, is just check with your car insurance company that you're
of course
the cover that you have actually allows you to travel abroad with it. It used to be taken as read. It used to be part and parcel of every policy.
I'll do that later, John.
There you go. So
thank you
for a lot of policies now, it's a way of just check before you go, because
And some will only cover for third party if you're driving on the continent.
Yeah.
Where you don't get your full cover.
Yeah.
Also track your health your travel insurance as well.
So if you've got an current EHIC card, you can
still valid?
Yeah, they're still valid until they expire. And then they're replaced with a GHIC card, which is a global health cover.
Something tells me that won't work in the US.
No.
So it's not global then?
No, but they just call it global. It's global as much as
global-ish. Yeah.
Someone needs to inform the European Union that they are not the world.
Good luck with that, Becca.
So there's been a few questions about parking, actually, about costs of parking. We didn't pay for parking. That's not because we just snuck in.
Ben's got an Infinity Pass until the beginning of May, and that gives you not only free parking but premier parking.
Yep, so access right to the front. So when you go through, they give you a receipt for your parking, and there's a 4-digit code to let you into the secret area.
We couldn't find it the first day.
Because we didn't know what the 4-digit code was at the top.
What's that for? Didn't bother actually telling us.
And there's no signs for Infinity on the first day we went there.
Yeah, but there's a barrier.
And we guessed it was that, we weren't sure.
But it was, is it that or is that a staff area?
But do you know what? The parking at Disneyland Paris is weird because let's go think of the Walt Disney World parking and secret car park. It isn't secret. It's just the code you need to get in is secret, Lisa. Yeah. So at Walt Disney World, when you park, you absolutely have to follow the directions. There's no way you're going to be... If they tell you to go long and go far end of that row, you're going to the far end of that row. There's nothing you can do about it because you are directed and you can't do anything. In Disneyland Paris, the secret is to follow the way that they're directing, but then particularly if you're a little bit later in the day, just keep driving across the lanes. So if you go to the far end, you can then drive back along the top and drive into the front lane, and nobody cares because the front rows are empty because they haven't parked people very well. They just they do that whole thing where they go,
go down
somewhere. No, it really is. So you can actually.
So you mean to say the next time I go to Animal Kingdom in Florida, I'm going to pretend I'm French, right? And instead of going all the way down to the line, which is now on the 192. And as far away from the park gate you possibly go, I'll just sort of pretend I'm French.
Right.
Don't understand.
To go across the lanes and just
go and park in the cast members' car park. That's it.
We discovered that. You just cross the lanes and it's and it's so simple. And people don't realise you can do it. And in France you can do what you like, really.
I think the benefit of the Infinity with the parking was when it was in the morning.
Just see Marcus. So Marcus, that's when John wears his stripy t-shirt and he goes to the crepes. And you go looking for the crepes. John,
I'm not even going there. I'm going to insult somebody that started me red A1 from my love alone. Listen very carefully. I was not saying this once.
I remember that.
There are so many comments going through my head that I can't possibly say at the moment.
Yes, fallen Madonnas and all that, isn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Let's get back on topic. But car parking. But later in the day you go, because we didn't go in the Infinity one on the first day.
No, we didn't.
Because
we were one row behind the Infinity.
Just waiting for Claire and John to compose.
That's okay. That's all right.
We're still carry on talking.
I'm sorry.
But
because we couldn't find it that first day, we just parked wherever we could find a space. And while it was quite far down the row, it was only the road behind the Infinity parking.
So I have to admit, when we were there, it was quiet. It wasn't busy.
We were lucky.
I think a lot of people are going this week for the anniversary and
the nicer weather.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's meant to be nice next week as well, so that'll be good. So have we covered all?
I just pick up Karen's point in the chat. Because talking about Walt Disney World, they used to be really, really good later in the day at actually just letting you go and find your own space. And it was absolutely brilliant because you used to be able to wheedle your way down And then if you
go cross country and you can
you're going about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
So you've got to look French and look lost.
No, but you knew you were there for the rest of the night. So the closer you got to park the front of the park, then you knew fine well that on the way out you had less time to walk. But they've got a little bit sort of fussy about that in the past few years. So yeah.
I just think looking at this, I think while we're in the Waffler's Arms, you need to put some clips of Hello Hello. So I don't know if our American friends have ever watched Hello Hello. If you haven't, please tell us, because it is funny. I just love it. It's such a brilliant program.
I don't find it funny. My kids find it funny. And the kids' grandma and granddad show the kids it on DVD. I wouldn't.
It's the most hysterical program.
Hi, John.
Hey, John.
Hi, Seth. Boom. Thanks for joining us.
Nice to see you. But we'll put some Hello Hello references in the Waffler's Arms.
Maybe a poll if they want to see John wear a beret.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I'll buy one first, goodness.
I'll bring one from
Jason's got one you can borrow.
Oh, there you go, sorted. Not a problem.
Beret. Who buys a beret?
Yeah.
I'm sure you can pick one up from the France area in Epcot.
Right. Okay. I'm aware it is 7 minutes past 9.
Oh, there we go. And we've only
driven.
Too much giggling.
And we've only half insulted the French, so let's carry on.
Let's carry on.
Just before we do, can I just also add as well, for people from the north of the UK, the driving part is actually really... Yeah, there is a north to the UK. So where I live, I actually...
M25?
Yeah, I actually drove back to
Disneyland
Paris one Christmas Eve. And it was just the most never-ending drive of my entire life. And from that moment on, we always vowed we would never drive there and back, just because it is just so far. And I think now we'd probably plan it a bit better.
Sort of stop halfway or get
come and visit us and Claire, wouldn't you, John?
Yeah, well,
overnight.
Us overnight, and then
just down the road, aren't you? You know,
by the time you've contended with the A1, it's like you want to lose the will to live at that point.
Yeah.
So actually, I understand that. It's
driving in France is much nicer than driving in the UK.
Yeah, and that possibly leads us seamlessly onto the next two things. Because after doing that on our first trip there, it was one of those things. Nah, let's do it. So the second time we flew, so we actually drove down to Luton because we found some cheap flights.
That's like halfway to the...
Yeah, exactly. But it saved me driving the rest of the way.
It's for a cheap flight.
Yeah. So and then we got
like John.
No, exactly. Hey, but
was it business class?
It worked. No. It was EasyJet. but it was good because my brother lives quite close to the airport, so I could get free parking. But we flew, and actually flying, everyone says, "Oh, it's really dead good" and stuff like that. But you're still miles away from the parks when you actually get to Charles de Gaulle, and also be careful who you fly with, because not everybody flies into Charles de Gaulle, because some of them fly into Paris or Orly. So you've got to just bear that in mind as well. Yes. So then we actually, from flying, we then managed to get the TGV straight into Marne Valley, and that was really easy to do. But you're still left in that bit. Well, which one is the best? So how have you guys actually done any other way of traveling?
So I was just going to say, John, on that point of flying, because I know that Peter and Jill have flown. They can't be with us tonight, but they've flown from Cardiff, and I think from Southampton. I think they're flown from London as well. So if you can't drive, or you don't fancy getting the train, or the price is really, because you can pick up really cheap flights, 23 quid each return if you're EasyJet, Ryanair, whatever it is. And there is the transfer options from the airport. So flights either going to Charles de Gaulle or into Orly, which are the two Parisian airports. Neither of them are anywhere near Disneyland Paris. They're both a good 45 minutes away from DLP. And there are some options in terms of transfers. So this would apply to anyone flying in and internationally as well. And I think that's important to say that most international flights come into Charles de Gaulle. And there is, if you're going directly to Disneyland Paris, there is a thing called a magical shuttle. It's not owned and operated by Disneyland Paris, but there is a link to it on the DLP website, and you can just look it up online. It's called the Magical Shuttle. It's branded buses. It's like the old. It's basically what's happening now with Mears
Magical
Connect.
Express and Mears.
Yeah.
And I've just double checked the prices for the current. So from Charles de Gaulle, it is currently €23 per adult, one way, and €10 per child. So that's up 2 to 12, one way. So if you want to get back to the airport, it's going to cost you that again. So that's €46 return. And that will take you directly to whichever hotel you're staying in, and that includes, or it'll drop you at the train station if you're staying at a partner hotel.
And it'll drop the off-site as well.
Oh, it'll drop you at the off-site hotel.
Yeah.
That's surprising me, Claire, because that's in comparison to the train, because the train does have a couple of options as well. But it actually, because I've got like older kids, and then adult starts at it's not quite as bad as Disney, but it's getting there. But that's going to rack up, isn't it?
Right. You're talking €200 almost for return transfers. Patricia's asked what it is in dollars. I'm just double checking for you, Patricia.
We looked up doing an Uber, and the Uber cost was about €10 less than the shuttle
time
we were looking at. So it depends on when you fly it, and depends on like surge pricing with Uber. But if actually it's nice and
it's $25.
It's probably definitely a good.
Yeah, that's not bad then, is it?
Today's exchange rate would be $25.04 for €23. So it's about $50 return.
Yeah.
So it is quite a lot more expensive than the Mears Connect.
Yeah.
The other option, as you say, John, is to get the train directly from the airport down into Gare du Nord. And then the transfer from Gare du Nord to Disneyland Paris to Marne-la-Vallée station is really simple. So I've taken the train, and we're going to come on to the Eurostar in a moment. I did the Eurostar from actually Ashford to Gare du Nord, and they're very frequent, or were. We'll talk about that. But you can get the RAR from. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say, because the actual local train service is immensely cheap.
It's so cheap.
I know it stops at every single stop along the way. It takes you a little bit longer, but it's a money saver. It's a money saving one.
And you've got to be
prepared to do that. I think it's an option.
Yeah. My gut feeling is you've got to be quite a confident traveller to get the RAR over to Disneyland Paris, partly because you've got to negotiate the ticketing. So there is automatic ticketing booths, or you can line up if your French is reasonable. You've got to change train. So you need to get one line and you go to Châtelet-les-Halles, and then you change onto a second line. But it's actually very simple. You're actually just walking over a platform. It's the same. It's two sides of the same bit of concrete. But the trains are busy, particularly that first leg. The train's really busy. Maria's just said, as long as they're not on strike, they do strike quite frequently. And also the RAR around Gare du Nord, that whole environment is very, very busy, and it is renowned for pickpocketing and thieves. So I think if you're a confident traveller who's got a bit of common sense around you, and I wouldn't do it with a small child. I did it with a friend, with two adults together, and we were, we had one bag. It was fine. I wouldn't do it with a small family. I wouldn't do it with baby. I wouldn't do it with a toddler, because trying to hold them, if you've got a pushchair and things like that, it'd be an absolute nightmare. Just pay for the transfer. But if you're an adult traveling, or you've got grown-up kids like John, then actually getting the RAR is very quick. It's about 40 minutes from Gare du Nord directly into Marne-la-Vallée, which is at Disneyland Paris. It's the only thing that's there. So it's €14.
Yeah, the other side to that, Claire, and I think I would actually say that the bit from the actual airport down towards the train station is very well signposted if you are used to airport signs, and if you're very astute to how airports are trying to, if you're a transit passenger within an airport and you know to follow signs, it's there. It's in black and white. And yet a lot of people, when I read up on a lot of Disneyland Paris, they always say, "Oh, I came out of the airport. It was a nightmare. We had a nightmare." And it's actually it's not. Just follow the signs and just actually don't get ahead of yourself and then get to the exit of the airport and say, well,
where did I go? Where was I meant to go? But then that's the same for any airport, isn't it, John? If you're trying to find the car hire, or actually, the number of times we've come out of Venice and you've got to go and get on the boat to get to Venice Central. Actually, you just need to look around you and be a bit more aware. So I think you're right. It's very easy to find
do a little bit of planning and just sort of write a lot. Google Maps is really good for certain things, especially with airports. If you type them in now, most of the passenger areas that you can go to are open. You can just use the street view to go through, so you can sort of plan ahead and work out, okay, where am I supposed to go?
Go to their websites as well, because they usually will have airport maps that you can study.
That's true. So talking of the train, so the Eurostar, currently the only place you can board the Eurostar in the UK is St Pancras, which is I just want to say St Pancras is a beautiful station.
It is. It's gorgeous.
It has everything you need. It has Starbucks. It has
M&S, WH Smith's,
Fortnum and Mason.
As I say, it's got a whole little shopping row as well.
It's got a beautiful organic bakery. It's got everything you need. It's a very nice.
To Disneyland Paris.
And your train to Disneyland Paris. So it's got a lovely champagne bar upstairs, I believe. Someone told me about it once. Just saying. But it's actually a really, really nice place. If you're transiting and you've got a couple of hours spare, you can easily kill them in St Pancras, and it's beautiful to look at as well.
As a station sort of admirer, you know, when you walk in somewhere, you really want to be taken back to like the Victorian grandeur of it, because the way they've done it is actually they've been so amazing in actually putting that station back together from what it was probably about 40 years ago. Can I just quick thank you to Maria? She just said there's some really good YouTube videos.
That's so true.
They will take you through that walk off your flight at the airport and then onto the trains as well. And I'm pretty sure that's what we ended up using at one point as well. So yeah, thanks, Maria. That's a good reminder.
But yeah, St Pancras is beautiful, and there is no end of things to do there. And if you happen to be transiting through St Pancras, or you're going to board the Eurostar, give yourself an hour extra and nip over the road. I was going to say to the German gymnasium and have a beverage. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say to the Harry Potter area at King's Cross, because it's next door. Yeah. And if you're a Harry Potter fan, you can go and you can pretend to board the platform 9 3/4. There's a photo opportunity, and there's a really cool shop as well. So, yeah, boarding at St Pancras currently is the only option for the Eurostar. They have they used to go from Ebbsfleet International and Ashford International, which obviously Ashford is like 2 minutes from Ben and Becca's house. Ebbsfleet is about half an hour away from us. But for various reasons, they have stopped the Eurostars stopping at those places more than 2 years ago. Actually, it was before COVID, I think, wasn't it?
It was about a month before COVID.
There's some issues around platform size.
No.
Was it during COVID? I'm trying to remember.
No, it was before. They were doing some work on the platforms.
There were some issues. There are some issues at Ashford, particularly around the size of the platform and the size of the trains.
Because we've only ever gone from Ebbsfleet or something.
They don't meet up very well.
Yeah.
So it's a bit frustrating because we've got this fantastic international station just down the road that we can't use.
Ebbsfleet has amazing parking. St Pancras is in the centre of London with no parking.
So it's hopefully, Nick, I think it won't be before 2023. We'll see those services resume. They have in the last month resumed the direct from St Pancras to Disneyland Paris train. So it leaves St Pancras at about 9-10 in the morning, and it gets into Marne-la-Vallée about 20 past 12
at lunchtime. 2.5 hours.
And it just takes you straight there. And it's really simple because you check in at St Pancras, you get your luggage tags, and you get your park tickets when you check in for the train. So everything is very simple and it's all there for you if you're going direct. Now, Ben and Becca, you've done the indirect option, haven't you, via Lille?
Yes, our first two.
I've never done times now.
No.
It's actually really easy.
Yeah, I have to admit, is the first time we booked separately, we booked the Eurostar to Lille as a return, and then we booked the individual tickets from sort of Lille
from Lille to Marne
International
Valley
to Marne
on
Valley.
the TGV.
TGV.
Yeah, the TGV that goes from there to So that's the national rail service rather than the RAR, which is the local rail service.
Yeah.
There's like 5 different things in France, but the TGV is quick like the Eurostar. So
it does stop at quite a few stations, but
one of which is Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think it only stops at 3.
Yeah. But it was about 45, about an hour, I think, from
Lille.
And how long did you have to wait? Because Lille International and Lille Local, it's literally just a short.
It was in the
walk.
same station.
Yeah,
we make sure we booked it at the same station. On one of the coming back, we went from the local station and then changed.
But it's about a 10-minute walk, if that. Through the town.
And how long did you have to wait in between the trains?
There was long enough to get breakfast.
TGV's normally every half an hour, but the actual
I remember you sent us a photo of your breakfast.
Yes.
Because at Lille, there's a Westfield.
Yeah. There's a shopping centre right there.
Okay, well, that's handy. So the option isn't horrendous. So
about an hour or so.
And the trains to Lille are more frequent than the trains directly to Disneyland Paris. And that's the same as Transteam through Charles de Gaulle. So I remember when we went through Charles de Gaulle, Anna and I think we got like the 6:30 train or something from Ashford, and it was her birthday, so yes, we drank champagne on the train at 6:30. Of course we did.
Has to be done,
right? Yeah, and we weren't driving anywhere, so why not? But we were definitely in Gare du Nord before 9 o'clock in the morning. And at Disney by
I think we had like a 7:30 train from Ebbsfleet, and we got in the park by about midday.
So time-wise, there's not that much difference in terms of driving, because actually you got the 6:20 Eurotunnel last week, and you were in the park by
half
11.
11.
And that's my expectation on Monday, is that we'll get the 6:20 train, we'll check in at the hotel around 11 o'clock. That's with the hour time difference. And the train is a similar time. The difference is the cost. And
especially as it's either Ebbsfleet or, because that was the thing, we having to drive to Ebbsfleet, we're driving the opposite direction. It just feels weird. We're driving now, it's just driving straight.
It probably works fine for everyone who doesn't live in Kent, to be honest with you. If you live in Kent, then it's just a bit of a pain. But do you know what? It's a car park here at the moment anyway, so welcome to our world.
You can't go
You're not doing your bit for the Kent tourist industry there.
Oh, I know.
Welcome to all the lorries.
Welcome to the car park.
Here with the lorries. Hey, Jason, should we go and do a video for Jason? We could do here with the lorries.
Here with the M20.
Here with the car park.
I think as well, guys, and this was unfortunately the trip that we had. We had one booked just before everything came to a standstill with COVID and stuff. And this was the one that actually I was really looking forward to, because of the links into London on the train, to actually be able to stay over the night before. So you come into London the day before on the train, stay over, get up early, head across to Eurostar, and then you straight down after that. And to me, that to me was probably the most perfect way of doing it. And I really, if when we get our next trip to Disneyland Paris booked and sorted, I think that would be our preferred way of doing it, because and again, the price was right for that as opposed to flying.
The price is right. Who was that? Which game show?
No. It started in the US. It was, but it started in the US. So anyone in the US who remembers The Price is Right.
Price is Right. I remember Leslie Grantham. I remember the skier going up the hill. Do you remember that? Come on down. That was The Price is Right, wasn't it?
The Price is Right. That's it.
Yeah.
Joe Pasquale did the newest one, if that's any help.
No.
That sounds a car crash waiting to happen, doesn't it? Yeah,
it was.
I am definitely showing my age now.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Grumpy Old Git. Yeah, pin badges on the train seats. I've never done that before, but I do value my pins a little bit, you see. So I'm a bit. I'm a bit.
But do you know what, the Disney Express option, Maria? Thank you very much for reminding us on that. So, Disney Express, actually, if you're Thank you. Sorry, can I just say,
Wendy. Claire's all over the chat. Claire doesn't know where to look.
You know what? I'm so excited, Wendy, that you remember that as well, because I thought I'd gone
Patricia's on a different plane as well, because she's on. It's gone on every day. But Bob
I don't just know about Disneyland
Bob
Paris. I
Barker
know
in
about
the
the
US.
US right as well,
Fabulous.
apparently.
Yeah, I love it.
So my brain's going all over the place at the moment. I've got like 100 tabs open in
Disney
here.
Express.
Disney Express on the Eurotunnel.
Has the music started playing yet?
Yeah.
So the Disney Express is there's always music playing, Becca. That always happens. So Disney Express is the service that they run for Disneyland Paris. It's only for on-site hotels and obviously not Ranch Davy Crockett. So this is the service where you can go and you can drop your bags at the station. There is a designated desk area at the station, which is, if you're getting off the Eurostar or the RAR, it's on the top floor. So you just got to go round and up a couple of escalators. It's very clearly signposted. It's near the Eurostar check-in for when you're going home. You basically have luggage tags that they put onto your bag. You put your name on it, and they're color coded for which hotel you're staying in. You drop your bag off, and it magically appears at the luggage room of your hotel later on in the day. So if you're getting on a train and you land up at Disneyland Paris station at midday, for example, your room's not going to be allocated till 3. You've already picked up your park tickets on the train because you get them when you check into the train. So that means you can drop all your bags and go and enjoy the parks for the afternoon, and then just meet them back at your hotel, walk to the hotel later on in the day, pick your bags up from the luggage room. They'll already have been through security screening, which is fantastic. And then you can just check in at the hotel and go to your room. It is an extra cost. I'm trying to remember how much it is off the top of my head at this moment in time.
Euros.
About 30.
It
was about 30
when we
euros
did it a
when
couple
we
of
did
years
it.
ago anyway.
Per person.
No,
Total?
no, that was total.
Per room, I think.
Per room. Sorry, per room, yes.
Per room.
30 euros per room. Patricia, there is not a luggage limit. We've done it with 4 bags before. And most people, you only go to Disneyland Paris for 4 or 5, 4 days, really, 3 nights maximum.
Bag a person.
So you can absolutely do your carry-on bags, you can do your hold baggage, you can do your backpacks that you might not want. See, I've started something now. Everyone's on my.
I feel like I need to get something sorted for another week in the future where we can just play this.
What? The Alpine Hiker?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We could do like a Disney version.
We could.
Right. But the other thing is you can do the Disney Express on the return journey as well. So you can drop your bags at the luggage room at your hotel before 11 o'clock in the morning when checkout is, and they will transport them over to the station for you. So that means you can have breakfast, drop your bags off, scoot over, enjoy the parks for the day, and then just before you go to check in for the Eurostar. However, I will just say, make sure you give yourself a good 45 minutes before the check-in time to pick your bags up, because there's always a queue. And that took me by surprise the first time. But there is always
you can just rock up. Oh, where are my bags? And
yeah,
it's just like,
no, there's always a queue, and there is nowhere to wait, so you just have to stand with your bags.
Yeah.
The Eurostar queue is always a bit of a nightmare, and there's nowhere on the platform to sit either. So it's just one of those things. It's them on the valet station. But you pick your bags up at the station later on. So it means you don't have to carry everything around the park. You don't have to check your bags. You don't have to pay any extra. You just use that service. So you pay your 30 euros and you can pick them up at your hotel later in the day, and then you can drop them off in the morning. And it's so you don't have to be booking things via Disneyland Paris to be able to buy that service. You can just go on and book it, and you don't even have to be traveling by Eurostar to use it. So if you're traveling with the RAR going up to Charles de Gaulle or to Gare du Nord, you can still use the Disney Express train luggage service. So it's definitely worth the money.
Yeah, we used it on our when we went via Lille.
It's a complete no-brainer for me. It's the best money you'll spend on that trip.
Earlier, and it's like you just want to get straight in the park.
This is it. So you don't.
You can see it when you get to the train station. It's like I see. Yeah, I see the hotel.
Interestingly, you know that if you haven't booked it in advance, you can still go up to the desk.
Oh, okay. And
they'll take your money there. Don't worry. This is Disney. They'll take your money.
And you're training them well.
if you're staying in an on-site hotel, they will take your money there and they will give you the luggage tags there and then. So if you haven't booked in advance, you can still use it.
That's worth knowing, because that's something. Yeah, again, that was something that we weren't aware of. I think one of the things at Manor Valley that really did entertain our kids was the sight of armed French gendarmes.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere.
With proper sub-automatic machine guns along the bridge and stuff like that.
That's the bit that we don't have, isn't it? Because we don't have armed police everywhere in the UK. Yeah. But they absolutely are armed in
and again, if you do have maybe children who are a little bit nervous around that, just be aware of it and warn them beforehand. It is totally normal.
We saw them in the car park one day.
Our kids were as good as gold when we were in the station. It was really strange. It was just like perfectly behaved, a whole lot.
You just need
no idea why.
And I think the security guys there also. So my experience. And actually, I think some of the best cast members I ever encounter in Walt Disney World are the security team. Yeah. They're always chatty. They always say, "Oh, where are you from?" "I'm from the UK." We have a chin wag. We have a chat. Have a little bit of a bit of banter in the morning when you arrive, and it's lovely. They're always smiley and friendly. That does not happen. That does not happen in Disneyland Paris.
No,
they are not smiley. They are not friendly, and they are certainly not welcoming.
You're lucky you get a grunt.
Yeah,
most of the
time you don't. And if you don't speak French, then do you know what? You might as well be dead to them.
You won't even get a grunt. Exactly.
So don't expect that charming welcome to Animal Kingdom at 7:30 in the morning. What on earth are you doing here at this time? But let's have a chat. Let's have a chat anyway. You get a frown, you get a scowl, and a point.
They've maybe missed out that chapter of the training booklet.
I think they're from a third-party company. I don't.
We don't need that. Yeah. Not chapter 4. Don't need it.
I'll tell you what we did see outside the park, which made us laugh.
Yeah,
wasn't it the guy selling mini ears?
There was a guy selling Minnie Mouses for $5 on the Marnovelli property. So before you got
that's a really important point, actually, Becca.
Yeah,
and what was
the day it was raining?
Yeah,
he'd given up on the mini ears and was selling ponchos.
Yeah,
right.
This area, and it's something that is well worth talking about.
Yeah,
it's not a great advert for Disney, I would openly admit, but it is not the part as you come out of the station is not Disney property. It is open to people selling fake stuff, dodgy stuff. It is
distracting you while someone else.
It is a little pickpocket sort of area, and it is sort of the less salubrious side of people who would willingly take advantage of a traveller after a long journey. Yeah. Keep your wits about you. It's a really strange experience because if you're absorbed within that kind of Disney-fied bubble or the park bit, you now know that this is actually off-site. You do know that, but it still feels as if you're right next to the park. So you feel
tell that you're off-site is look at the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
The floor changes.
And if you're walking to the car, if you're walking to the car parks or you're walking to get on a shuttle bus somewhere, you do have to go past this area. They're not intrusive. It's not like being in a Moroccan market where they're going to grab you or anything like that. It's just they're there. And they're not Disney. So I think that's kind of so Caleb, the security guys, they're employed by a third-party company. They're not employed by Disneyland Paris. That's why I was saying that they are.
Disneyland Paris cast members are
awesome. They're amazing, and they're also all bilingual because that's part of the requirement to be there. So whether they speak French, German, French, Spanish, German, English, they all have to be at least bilingual. Most of them more than that. So actually, they're great fun.
And they're all very accommodating as well.
Right. They're just glad to be there, the same as we are.
With the language barriers, I should say, especially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The other thing, John, I just wanted to mention, which is one of the quirky things that I love about the Marne Valley station, and it might just be because of when we go, and anyone who goes to Disneyland Paris and they go to the Marne Valley station, particularly this sort of time of year around March, April, May time, as you walk along the side of the station, this is a really random thing to point out, but I'm going to do it anyway. As you walk alongside the station, either to go into the station or to the car parks, if you have a look at the station has sort of these archways along. As you look up, you will see it is a very, very popular nesting site for swallows. And you will see all the swallows' nests in the archways.
Oh, wow.
And they're amazing. There's hundreds of them. And particularly at springtime, you will see the baby swallows, and you'll see the families sweeping backwards and forwards and feeding. And it's incredible. The noise is unbelievable of the birds. I don't know if you guys saw it last week. The birds are so loud. But if you look
Heard
up,
it anyway.
you'll see why, because actually there are multiple swallows' nests. You know, the mud packed up into the rafters of the archways. That's the official design. But it's incredible, and actually it's really beautiful. So do look up. Always look up.
Well, maybe just being very aware of how many swallows are in the vicinity.
Yeah, or duck, or use a poncho or an umbrella if you need to.
Do you know something? I think between I know we sort of went down the line of planes, trains, and automobiles. They're actually again. I come back to a point I continue to make. There is no perfect way of doing this. It's whatever suits you. It depends on the type of holiday you want. It depends on the type of trip that you've got planned. If you're coming from across the other side of the Atlantic, I would perhaps suggest that there might well be a very, very simple transfer available to you guys from Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah.
And I would love to see so many more people from across in the US coming across to Disneyland Paris, and I think that's been part of the reason we've decided to do the whole of April as a Paris month as well, and just to try and share the love, because I know we talk an awful lot about Orlando, but this is something that it's more or less if it's Ben and Becca, it's just down the road basically.
It's on our doorstep.
Down the road.
Yeah.
And I know we joke about it, but it's quicker for us to get to Disneyland Paris than it is to get to John's house.
Yeah.
So
it is.
we're closer to Calais than we are to London easily.
And it's looking up. We went off-site this trip, which is something we've never done before, but it's now made me think, okay, actually, this is quite affordable to go on the train, to do a weekend, to do
overnight trip or whatever.
Overnight trips.
To be fair, it's about the same price as a trip to London, isn't it?
Yeah. So I've never done off-site in 37 odd trips. Yeah. I've only, and do you know what? I appreciate that. I'm extremely fortunate that I'm lucky enough to stay in I have stayed in all 7 of the Disneyland Paris hotels, the official ones.
Oh, that's
and
I was going to say it's showing off, but it's not. If you've been that many times, you might as well.
And I have my favourites, and I have my not favourites. And
so where does Davy Crockett rank on that?
Claire stays at Santa Fe, right?
I actually love Ranch Davy Crockett for all the reasons, in terms of the fact that actually it does feel like you're a bit of a wilderness explorer. It's really fun. And you can have your car right there. So if you're taking stuff and you've got a family, you can just...
Do you know what? Having a car...
You can fill it with wine for the journey home.
That was really good. And then we could just drop all the stuff that we brought in the car, and we didn't have to worry about packing
That's the thing about having a car, is that actually if you're in the winter or in the spring or the autumn and you need to take coats, you can just fling them in the boot of the car.
And also, if the weather's a bit rubbish, which occasionally can be at Disneyland Paris, getting the car for 5-minute drive to the park.
Yeah, it's
quite
great.
handy. And
Maria.
I think that's an entire other show.
Maybe that's the show we need to do. But what I'm going to say, Maria, is it was the Hotel New York as it was.
Without the Marvel.
You haven't stayed at the Marvel one yet.
Without the Marvel overlay, the Hotel New York as a 1920s Art Deco New York building was absolutely my favourite. I just loved it. It was gorgeous architecture. It was a bit stark, but it was stunning, with the ice rink outside, all of that stuff. I haven't seen it as the Marvel Hotel. I look forward to visiting it next week. But I think maybe that's a whole show in itself, is the 7 different resorts at Disneyland Paris, and the story behind them as well. Because look, it's
7 different shows.
It's 20 to 10, and you're starting me off with a whole other story. So
maybe have it noted, Claire, because we can come back to that.
We can come back to that.
Can I say a huge thank you to Wendy as well? It just spreading the word, and I think this is so nice about about us all going on our travels and things like that now, and it is just spreading the word, and we appreciate it so much because it's so funny because you get so many different looks, and it's just like I'm sure I recognize that T-shirt from somewhere, and it just becomes part and parcel of what we're, we just do this as a bit of fun on a Wednesday night. We do the podcast as a bit of fun, and actually to know that so many people are watching, we are totally appreciative of it. And spread the word. It's always good when you get new people on board as well, because.
And if they want to get in contact with us and ask us anything specific, then tell them to send us a DM, because we are open to suggestion of shows, topics, or things that they've heard enough of and they don't want to hear anymore.
Or if you know that you've heard some really good tips and advice in the past, direct them to the website, because all the shows are linked from there, and you'll get a little link to that as well, because I think that's a good one, because you always know that I'm sure these guys have told me about maybe how we should I'll say taking a strip plug on a holiday to Orlando.
John, let's
things like that, they just get lost in translation, and that's just in a different dialect in the UK. So what chance have I got?
Let's just talk about what we've got coming up, because in beginning of May, I'm just thinking, where are we? We are the 13th of April. So the beginning of May show, we're going to be doing Carousel of Questions. Who's doing Carousel of Questions? Becca, did you just do a massive yawn?
You've gone, oh no. I've
So the show at the beginning of May is going to be far more interesting than Becca's yawn.
Carousel of Questions, quick fire.
It's because it's my Carousel of Questions. That's
so Becca's answering our second Carousel of Questions.
So
and then what are we talking about? Oh my goodness, we're talking about...
No.
I thought it was fancy fanny packs.
What do you find in your fanny pack?
I can't.
No.
I can't even
Look, I'm not laughing. You see, we spoke about this in the planning meeting, right? And I was on the banned list. Right.
I thought you'd
frozen.
I thought you'd
now we're live.
Now
we're live. Look, guys, look, I can deal with this.
John, you were so much on the banned list that you're not actually going to be there for the recording.
Not going to be there, because this is the thing. Because if John and I are there together, I can't deal with it if John and I are there together, because he makes me laugh.
Okay.
No, it's not my fault.
I think what we should do, we should open this up to the Wafflers Arms and tonight's chat.
What a great idea.
If there is something that you want us to talk about, or is there something particular that you would put in your park bag or bum bag?
Do you know what? I have very specific things that I put in my park bag or my bum bag or my fanny pack or whatever you want to call it. There are very specific things that I carry always that I will talk about. But if you've got things that are essential to your park day, tell us so we can talk. We can consider whether they should be in or out.
Yeah.
I know we'll talk about this we'll give people a little teaser. One of these.
So they're essential, but not why you. They're essential, but not for the reason that you would think they're essential.
All will be revealed on the 1st of May.
Yeah.
And next. What are we talking about next Wednesday?
Okay,
I'm not there.
Next Wednesday, someone's in Disneyland Paris. So
who would that be?
LP.
And why am I there?
Claire, Maria's onto you.
I know she is. She's been part of this conversation before.
Super glue. That's it.
Every fanny pack needs super glue.
There you go. But I think Maria. I think Claire needs to find you a little prize or something. We'll send you something.
Claire's going to be here next week.
Map. Oh,
that's where I'm going to be.
Yeah, and while Claire's there, we are going to be Walt Disney World versus Disneyland Paris.
But possibly not in the way you'd think.
No. Because
like in a boxing, like a box
top trumps.
Top trumps.
What a great idea! Oh my goodness, Ben, that's your challenge in the next week to write in Disney top trumps. Surely someone's made them. Fastest ride, longest wait, slowest service in a restaurant.
Starbucks, from the car cafe.
Yes.
What a great idea. You could definitely base it like top trumps. Caleb, yes, the Euro Disney logo, absolutely. 1992, it was Euro Disney. It was actually Euro Disneyland, and then it was Euro Disney, and then it was Euro Disney Resort, and then it was Disneyland Paris Resort, and now it's just Disneyland Paris. It's been through many iterations.
Yeah.
There are still some people that call it Euro Disney.
But there are, well, we all do. Yeah. But interestingly, when you look at things like the train station, see, this is me geek moment. The train station, there's beautiful iron railings on the train station that say EDR, which is down to a Euro Disneyland Railroad. So, the original artwork and stuff is there.
That's good. Can I just, big shout out to Neil and Karen. That's a really good point. Yeah. Give them a shout. Give them a shout because actually, they are partners of the show. And if it is overwhelming, then Karen will sort it out for you.
Planning any trip can be overwhelming, especially at the moment.
Good like that, Karen. It's just like it takes the hassle out, gets it all done for you, and then she'll be able to get that sorted. So,
and all the links to Portable Travel, if you could just go to our website, gbmickeywaffle.com, it's just a link along the top.
You can find them easily.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So
we've gone long, like way long.
John,
you're such a bad influence.
Let's see what happens next week. Claire and John aren't here.
Yeah.
Could just be us.
We've done in 10 minutes.
I'm fairly certain Peter
Roll the intro, and that's it.
Intro, outro. Everyone can have an hour back of their life. Welcome to
just a public service, isn't it? Give everyone an hour back.
Just a heckle. It's just like I'll need to find some Wi-Fi, I think, and then they'll just. And if I do find some Wi-Fi, I might just have to dip in simply for the fact that battle between DLP and Walt Disney World.
You are like Switzerland in that, aren't you?
There's only one winner in that one for me.
One's warmer than the other.
Yeah.
Top temperatures, lowest temperatures.
Oh, top trumps. Disney top trumps. It's gonna actually. I think we could. This is a series with.
That's an idea. Next week's show is sorted. Just play Walt Disney World fireworks versus Disneyland Paris fireworks. We can sit back and watch them.
Ben, put it on the list. Disney parks top trumps across the world.
Ooh.
Let's build that.
Okay, because we've got Tokyo, Shanghai, Hong
we know
Kong.
people who've been to them. Okay. My brain is like tab 743 is now building that in my brain.
And only 10 of them are playing music.
Oh, they're all playing music at the same time.
I just can't work out where it's coming from.
Right. But we should go. It's 10 to 10 here.
Yeah. Just a massive thank you to everyone who's joined in the chat. That's been such a blast tonight. It really has. And thank you guys because actually you guys have been to DLP far many more times than I have. And it's just it's so good because it's just adding to my sort of future planning. And I hope everybody who's been watching and joining in tonight, it's added to your planning for the future as well.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. It's been great fun tonight. Thank you in the chat. We've had lots of fun, and I'm going to find some Aloha clips.
I'm not going there. I'm not going to fall for that trick, Claire. I'm not going to finish with any joke about German sausages or anything like that.
Back to the breakfast.
I'm better than that, you see. You're just not even going to do it.
Oh, you're such a bad influence, John. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thanks for watching,
and
guys.
We'll see you next week.
See you later.
Waffle on.
Waffle on.
Bye.
Waffle on.